There it is.
So
There we
see,
go.
see who we got.
All right.
Okay, and cell phone cameras down so the TV can get a clean shot, please.
Back here, guys, thank you.
3, 2, okay.
All right.
All right, all right.
Thank you.
Good big man.
I want to say this to your family, Booker. You won't see anything like this, in my mind, anywhere in sport. This group of sports media having like this, make it up. It elevates this thing, always has for me. And as David was at the first meeting first media I ever came to when I bought the team, and I've never forgotten it as long as I live. I was almost shell-shocked that it would have that deal right there. But this is a happening within itself. Y'all get some pictures of them with the group all around with them too.
All right, Dave.
Start us out.
Hi, Tyler. David Moore, Dallas Morning News.
How you doing?
I know when you were talking last night, you were talking about how the offensive line here has always been a staple, and you followed it kind of growing up. Any individual Cowboys offensive linemen in particular that you followed, or you like to think you've patterned your game, or it resembles in any way?
Well, I've definitely always watched Zach Martin and Tyron Smith. Those two are just legends, two Hall of Famers, two who have really broken success down to a science, and they were consistent for so long. And to see them retire, I feel like I'm getting old because I grew up watching them. And then like one signature play that I remember watching is when the Cowboys were playing the Steelers. They were in Pittsburgh, and Zeke broke that run to put the to ice the game essentially. And I'll never forget that. I was just like, man, like that offensive line is really winning the game for him. Like that was years and years ago. That was like what, 2015, 2016, 16? I was close. Yeah. So I remember that game, and I remember that play, and I was like, wow, like that's what offensive line play could do. Like just part of like the Red Sea. I think it was like zone or split zone to the right. But yeah, that stands out in my memory.
Todd.
Todd Archer with ESPN. What's this day been like for you since you've gotten to the Star and seen where you're going to be for the next however many years?
It's been great. It's great to call a place like this home, and me being at Alabama for the past 3 years have really prepared me for this moment and this day. Alabama is a place known for greatness. There's a lot of tradition. There's a legacy there. There's an aura when you walk into the building, and you feel it. Like you feel like you have a standard to live up to. And just as I felt like I'm walking into Malmore, that's how I felt walking into the facility today. There's a lot to live up to. There's a legacy. There's a standard that's been upheld here for years, and I'm looking forward to continue to further that.
John Michaud with The Athletic. Expanding on that a little bit more, what was it like? How does it compare to, obviously IMG is as big as there is in high school, and Alabama for college, and then walking in this facility compared to when you walked into those?
It's truly a blessing overall. Like as you mentioned, I went to IMG, the biggest high school, went to Alabama, the biggest college, and now I'm with the Dallas Cowboys, the biggest pro team. So it's truly a blessing, and going into each level, obviously the buildings get a little bit bigger, and this is definitely the biggest out of all three. It's just truly a blessing to be here, and I just want to take this time to shout out my family while I'm looking at them. They're sitting over there, and I wouldn't be where I am without them. They essentially had to watch their son grow up over FaceTime because I left home when I was 14 to chase this football dream. So for them to have the trust in me and love and really making that sacrifice, I just want to say I thank y'all and I love y'all.
I'll give you guys that.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You went to IMG. How did that shape you to go to the next level?
IMG shaped me for the next level because it was essentially the next level. You're pretty much doing a college schedule. So we practiced in the morning, we went to school in the afternoon. We played a national schedule, so I was used to traveling. I was used to scheduling my time, and we would be done with our day around 5 or 6 o'clock. So you have all that time before you go to bed, so you have an opportunity to get ahead of the schoolwork, to get some recovery in, to get an extra lift in. So just as college was. So IMG definitely prepared me for Alabama.
It's one thing to commute from Connecticut to Jersey to go to Berkeley Catholic, but you had to leave, go to Florida. How tough was that as a young man? I think you were 14, 15 when you had to move to Florida. How tough was that?
It was tough, but it molded me into who I am today. Like, I feel like as a man, nobody grows in comfort. You have to be in situations where you're uncomfortable. That's how you grow as a man, when you have to figure some stuff out, when you have to figure out, like, okay, how bad do I really love football? How bad do I really want this? Because you can ask my parents. Like, there were days where I was like, man, I'm tired. I want to come home as a 14 and 15-year-old, and they just reminded me of my goal. They reminded me why I was there, and they told me that if you just keep on working, you stick to it, everything's going to happen the way it's supposed to. So, again, thank y'all for keeping me on track.
Tommy.
Tommy Arsh, Dallas Cowboys.com. Tyler, getting to see Connor Riley and Ramon Chenyoung earlier, what were those conversations like, and what have they told you about how excited they are to get to work with you?
Yeah, it was just a whole lot of excitement. We really embraced each other. We had a great time on the 30 visit, just seeing how Coach Riley coaches and to see how he coaches. That's a way that I learned really well. He's very, very animated, very loud, very demonstrative, and very much like my past two coaches in college, Coach Wolford and Coach Cap. Like, both those guys, same way. Very demonstrative, very loud, very animated, and I respond well to that kind of coaching. So I'm very excited to get to work and learn from Coach.
Earlier on the visit, too, we saw you go to Luke Casey and get fitted for some boots for the first time. It's your first pair, right? What was that experience like?
It was great. So actually, I was in Dallas training for the combine, and I went to the stockyards, and there was a boot store. I was like, man, it would be pretty cool to get some boots. But I tried them on, they didn't fit. So I was very upset. And ever since then, I'd be like, man, I want a pair of cowboy boots. So for me to walk in and get fitted for a pair of Luke Casey boots, that was pretty cool. And then even have my foot measured the way it's supposed to. That added to the greatness of the day. So now I know what size I am in cowboy boots. So I'll be rocking some around the facility pretty soon.
Nick.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. You trained here during the pre-draft process. You had a 30 visit. I know at the end of the day you just want to be drafted. First round would be cool, but did you dream at all during the process about landing here?
Yes, the entire process. So I actually trained here last May as well. I spent some time with Duke Manyweather again, and just being in this area. I have a close friend, Jax Porter. He's from this area, so just spending some time with him, I was like, man, it would be really nice to live around here. And that's something that people don't think about. Like, obviously, we're here to play football. We're here to win championships. We're here to work. But at the end of the day, this is a place where you want to get drafted to a place to where you can raise a family and plant your roots. And for me to be a Dallas Cowboy, for one, to have that honor to be a Dallas Cowboy and play football here, but for me to live in this great city of Dallas as well, somewhere to plant my roots, somewhere I'm looking forward to playing my roots, is just the best of both worlds. So I've definitely dreamed about having this be my landing spot. And I just want to thank the Jones family for taking me and making me a Cowboy.
And then your head coach, you are his first pick.
Yes.
What are your emotions around that? And any added pressure, or have y'all talked about that? What's that been about?
We haven't really talked about that yet, and there's no added pressure. All he asked me to do is just come in and be me every day, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm very excited to come in and be Tyler Book every day.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, DLS Sports. Tyler, you talked last night about how players will do pump-up music and pre-workout to get excited for games, and how much you love to just take away the love for their game and seeing that in their eyes. Two-part question. What's your pregame routine, and how many moments do you remember last year where you took the love away from opponents' eyes?
Okay, so my pregame routine, when I wake up, I definitely listen to some gospel music. I do that every day. Give glory to God. Just spend some time with God. Like, I love music, and I feel like that's a great way for me to connect with God earlier in the day, get my day right, and then from then on, it really depends on how I'm feeling. So I just use music to kind of level me out. So if I'm very amped up and animated too early before the game, that's when I put on something smooth like Rick James, the Isleys, Marvin Gaye. That's my kind of music. But if I need to get amped up, that's when I turn on the Jadakiss, the Jay-Z, the 50 Cent, the Nas. So it really just depends on how I'm feeling throughout the day. Once I get to the stadium, that's when I put on my pregame workout clothes. I take a lap around the field, and I just breathe. And I take that lap around the field just to really claim that space and really essentially mark my territory. Like, this is my field. I'm going to dominate today. Do a quick little routine, and then I call my great-grandmother. We pray over the phone. And then once I get back in the locker room, I'm big into sports psychology. So I practice something called visualization. So I have the openers to the game. And so I have the openers to the game. I close my eyes and mentally put myself in the headspace of the game. So I'm thinking about what my gloves feel like, what my cleats feel like, socks, what it smells like, how loud it is in the game, what jersey numbers I'm going to be going against, what their jerseys look like. So mentally, I'm already in the game, and then I'm just thinking about those openers. So like, let's say we got inside zone, duo, and then play action. So I'm thinking about those plays in order. Got my eyes closed. I'm seeing those plays against a 4-down front, an odd wide, what they're going to do if they stun, what we're going to do if the safety rolls over, just thinking about all the variables. So I'm just checking off every checklist in my head before the game. So I'm essentially playing the first quarter of the game already. Like, a lot of people feel like they need that first hit. That's how I get my first hit. And then an example of me taking the love away from my opponents. Man, my favorite is definitely playing LSU this year, because they're a rowdy crowd. It's the SEC. It's just like anywhere else in the SEC. Like, it's going to be a loud crowd. It's going to be rowdy. They're going to be talking a lot of smack to you. And when we played LSU this year, the stadium was empty by the beginning of the fourth quarter. And we were beating them so bad, our coaches weren't even in the press box anymore. They were on the sideline with us. So that was a good example of me taking love away from my opponent. Playing Missouri, having a shutout against them, that was another example. And then probably my favorite right next to LSU was 4th and 31 when we beat Auburn. And it was funny because you see everybody coming down, getting ready to storm the field. You see everybody's flashlights on. And then when Jalen throws that ball and Bob catches it, and then everybody's flashlights goes off and they just start leaving the stadium. That was the best feeling ever.
That's very good. Side.
Sadius of The Athletic. Tyler, Duke was on a podcast, a local podcast earlier today, and was raving about your leadership. What is your leadership style, and how do you, as a young player, plan to bring that into a room that already has some guys like Tyler Smith and even Cooper Beebe, a young guy but has been here already?
First and foremost, when it comes to leadership, you have to earn the right to lead. So that's what I'll be looking forward to do first. You earn the right to lead by being a producer on the field, by doing everything right off the field, and being somebody that your teammates love, trust, and most importantly, respect. So that's when it comes. That's my approach when it comes to being a leader. But like the kind of leader I am, I'm a teammate by teammate approach when it comes to leadership, because you can't. Just like you can't coach everybody the same, you can't lead everybody the same way, but you can lead them fair. So obviously some people respond well to me getting after them, be like, hey, let's go, pick it up, me yelling at them, getting after them. But some people, when I take that approach, they may shut down, and then you won't get anything out of that teammate. So it really just depends on who you're leading. But that's why it's so important to have that love, trust, and respect from your teammates, because once you have that, you know who you're leading, you know which approach to take, and you know how to get the most out of your teammates.
Brian, obviously we're getting a flavor of his routine and all of those kind of things. Just what stood out to you in the way when you had the conversations with him in the 30 visit?
This. You guys have listened to him. I mean, it was just authentic. It was real. His confidence, the way he carries himself, which you guys are witnessing right now, is what we shared with entire day, basically.
Brianna Aldridge, CBS Texas. Tyler, a lot of players often on draft day will share their draft moment, going back, reflecting on how that day was so special. I'm just wondering if there's anything in particular from yesterday that's kind of something that will always stick with you.
The prayer right before the draft. Like, I had everybody that was in the green room with me. We prayed beforehand. I just asked God to send me to this spot that was going to fit me the best, somewhere I was going to be able to plant my roots and really grow and really come into manhood, you know. So that's what I pray for. So that'll forever stand out to me. And then just seeing my little brother Mason there, like, the whole time, like, that's my boy. Like, he's like, I feel like as a man who has a younger brother, like, however well he does in life, like, that's up to me. Like, I'm laying out the blueprint for him. So for him to be able to sit there and see me get drafted, like Mace, I hope you see that, and I hope you know and understand that if you just listen to mommy and daddy like I did, you can have the same future.
And then my second question, when is Trina coming to Dallas?
Trina's gonna come to Dallas once I get everything settled. Once I get everything settled, because the terrarium, it takes a lot to transport. So actually, my dad and I, when I was training in Dallas, I had my dad fly all the way from Connecticut. He met me in Dallas, and we drove 8 hours all the way to Tuscaloosa because I didn't want them to go without their tank for too long. So Trina will be coming to Dallas soon, but we just got to be strategic with it.
Ed Werder, WFA. Tyler, having played in the SEC against a lot of guys who, like you, were first-round picks, how does that prepare you to be better able to make that transition yourself to playing some of the great players in the NFL that you'll go against every week?
Well, that's why you play in the SEC, to go against those great players. And iron sharp as iron. You don't get better by going against lesser competition. And that was the whole point of me going to Alabama. Like, being at Alabama, you're everybody's national championship. You're everybody's Super Bowl at Alabama. Everybody's going to give you your best shot. There's going to be trick plays. They're going to put stuff in front of you that they never put on film before. So you're going to get everybody's best shot at Alabama. So iron sharp as iron. And I've gotten better going against some of the best defensive lines in college football the past 3 years.
Can you make guys at the NFL level wish they hadn't played football when they play against you?
It'll happen with time, but I know I have a lot to learn. I have a lot to improve on before I get to that point. But that mindset is always going to remain the same.
Garrett.
Garrett Codell, CBS Sports. Tyler, you interacted with Micah Parsons a little bit after you were drafted last night. What was that like, connecting with him, and your thoughts on practicing against him on a regular basis?
It was really cool, and that's somebody who brings a lot of energy. He from the outside looking in, he seems like he's the heartbeat of the defense, really the heartbeat of the team. So to have an interaction with him like that already, that was really cool. I'm very excited to practice against him because, as I just mentioned, iron sharp as iron, and that was another reason why I went to Alabama. Like, obviously, I'm getting that in-game competition, but I'm getting that in-practice competition. Like, I'm going against guys like Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Henry To'oTo'o every single day. Like, especially as a freshman, like, that's how you get better. Iron sharp as iron.
Back to Ed.
Jerry and Steven, you guys have made a big draft pick investment and a big financial investment in Tyler. What's your impression been of him as you've listened to him here and engaged with him throughout the day?
Well, when he was on the board, I was speaking to Steven. Can you talk today?
I'm better.
Better. All right, really. But seriously, listening to Tyler, I'm reminded that I don't know that we ever see a Super Bowl that I would have a chance to be a part of if it weren't for Michael Irvin. And Michael, we know the competitor, we know the challenger, and we know the spirit. But the part of Michael Irvin that was the most impressive because he was the leader. He was the leader. For instance, when Alvin Harper caught off the goal line against San Francisco in the NFC Championship game, and nobody could believe that play was called, Michael and Alvin Harper were in the huddle together, and Harper got in the spot that Michael might have thought he should have had because they both thought the ball would go to Harper. Of course, Harper ran 80-something yards right off the goal line, and we hadn't stopped them all day. They made 600 yards, and we won the game and won the Super Bowl. And I was talking to him about that, and I said, and he said, because I'd heard that he told Alvin, he said, you be a man, whatever you do, you don't even think about doing anything but take that thing across the middle. You don't even hesitate. You grab that ball and you run to the total end, but don't flinch. We've all counting on you. And he said, have I ever let you down, Alvin? Have I ever let you down? And Alvin, of course, said he hadn't. The rest is history. He made the play. Michael later told me, you don't think that transpired just because we were on the goal line in San Francisco in the huddle there. He said that started 4 years ago. And he said, you don't call on each other right at huddle time or right in a game. You put it in a long way back. And he said Alvin got a call to come talk to his Saratoga club in his hometown. And he was trying to ask me what would say. And I said, how would you like me to go with you to your hometown, Alvin? And I'll go down there with you, and we'll both go to the Saratoga club. He said, you have to put that in sometime years before you call on it in a football game. That's looking around the corner. That's awareness. I think this boy's got it now. Same stuff. They're different now, obviously, than Michael, but different. But looking around the corner, leadership, thinking ahead. What's it going to take to win one of these things?
No, the only thing I would add is I think everybody in here is getting a great feel for what our scouting department, our coaching staff, our organization got a feel for when you get prepared for a draft. And I think Jerry said it. I've said it many times. You don't want to be up here much picking this high. I can tell you, Tyler is going to do something about that too in terms of us not being up this high picking something. But when you do, when you pick a man this high, you want him to be unique and special. And I think everybody's getting a great feel for what we thought of Tyler and what he can do for this organization for many, many years to come. And, you know, we've been fortunate that when we have picked high, you know, we've had good results. And but a part of that is looking at the whole package. And there's a whole lot more than to Tyler than what he does on the field, as you can see. He's a special man, and we look forward to having him make our organization better.
Boy, I'm going to say this. How proud you must be. Great job of parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Great job of parenting. He's unique.
Jeff Cole with Fox 4. Tyler, welcome and congratulations. You mentioned the legacy, the aura of IMG in Alabama, and now, of course, this franchise with 5 Lombardi trophies. Also, there's a 29-year Super Bowl drought here as well. What are your feelings about trying to come in here and end that for this franchise and fan base?
Well, that's a goal that I definitely want to accomplish. Like, I definitely want to win the Super Bowl. But me just being drafted, like, I just had to take things one day at a time. And the best way that I can help my team, help the Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl, is just authentically be me and just take everything one day at a time, get better one day at a time, and really raise the level of the room altogether, raise the level of the team altogether. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. And then winning, like I love to win and I hate to lose. So. Like I lost too much this past year. Like I lost too much, a lot more than I should have in college. Me being at Alabama, I left without a national championship, and that's something that's going to burn at me for the rest of my life. So I'm going to bring that burning passion and desire with me to the NFL and transfer that over to wanting to win Super Bowls.
And you thank your family, of course, that's here supporting you. When you think back about the sacrifices they've had to make, what moments stand out about the key support they've provided along your journey?
Oh man, if I said every sacrifice that they've made, we'd be here all night long. But something that stand out to me is how my mom literally had to change her work schedule so I can get to middle school. So I'm from New Haven, Connecticut, but I went to school in New Canaan, Connecticut, which is about an hour away. So we both had to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I could catch 2 buses in order for me to just go to middle school. And then she had to change her work schedule so she could go earlier and leave earlier so she could pick me up from the bus stop as well. My father. Just taking me all across the country to whatever football camps I wanted to go to, and then eventually moving to New Jersey with me for the tail end of my time at Bergen Catholic, him having to get a job there, us just doing whatever it takes, and financial resources that they had to sacrifice and invest into me. Like, I wouldn't be where I am today without them, so thank you guys.
Sydney.
Sydney Staples, DG10 Sports. Tyler, what is your earliest football memory?
My earliest football memory is one when my dad and I were watching the Titans game. I think it was probably Steve McNair highlights, some old Steve McNair tape. I don't know why I remember this so clearly, but like I remember just being in a high chair and just watching the Titans play because I remember my dad was a big Steve McNair fan, but like I couldn't have been any older than 2 or 3, something crazy like that. But I remember watching the Titans game with my dad.
Who are you excited most to line up against?
Who am I excited most to line up against? I'm excited to line up against Jalen Carter. He's just somebody that I've been watching for a while. Me playing defensive line in high school, I'm very interested in both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive line. So just seeing how his body moves, seeing how well he plays, seeing like how dominant he is, seeing how much of a game wrecker he is. Like, you only get better by going against guys like that. You only get better. Only get better by going against guys like that. So I'm very excited to take on that challenge of going against him and then just improving game by game.
Mike
Leslie, WFA, welcome to town. I saw that you FaceTimed with Dak Prescott last night after the draft. What was that communication like, and how excited are you to protect him?
It went really well. We just talked about how we both want to win some Super Bowls. That was the main point of it, and then just building that relationship. We talked about how I was excited to build a relationship with him because I see how much that relationship can translate onto the field. Like, I don't know if you saw last night, but I almost carried Jalen Milroe onto the stage with me with Roger Goodell. Like, that's what our relationship was like. Like, Jalen Milroe is my brother. Like, I love Jalen to death. Like, some of the stuff that we've been through, some of the things that we've done, it's just like that relationship that we have is so strong, like, and it translated onto the field these past 2 years. Like, we were really successful as an offense these past 2 years, and I credit that to the relationship that we had as an offensive line and quarterback, and knowing that I'm going to try and do my best to translate that to this level with Dak.
You mentioned the support of your family. I saw also the Instagram posted the letter from your girlfriend kind of went viral in the last couple of days too. What does her support mean, and what have the last 24 hours been like for the two of you?
Her support, it really means a lot to me. Like, Kalani is essentially becoming part of the family now. Like, my mom calls her child like her daughter. So it's funny. Up in Connecticut, our Christmas tree is still up because Kalani hasn't been back yet to get her Christmas present from underneath the tree. So when we get back to Connecticut this weekend, Kalani will finally be able to get her Christmas present. We can put the Christmas tree back up. But Kalani, that's my rock. Like, every day, whether I'm having a good day or a bad day, like, I'm calling her, I'm talking to her, and she really just talks me through the good days and the bad days, and she's truly a blessing. I'm so thankful that God's put her in my life.
Nick.
Brian, you were emotional a little bit earlier, but what is it about this moment for you?
I'm just excited for the fans to get a sense of the young man that we've brought into our family, the upbringing, but it's not even beginning to resonate just because of the type of competitor he is. To hear his routine before the game that he took you guys all through that was so eloquent, that's real. And that's what this guy is as a competitor. So I'm really happy for him. I'm happy for us. I'm happy for his family.
And Tyler, you mentioned it a little bit already, but just kind of speak to the type of teammate you are. Your quarterback is still on the board. To somebody who would be thinking about drafting him, what would you say about your quarterback?
Jalen Milroe is going to change your program. He's going to change your franchise with the energy that he brings. But obviously, with his talent on the field, like, Jalen can make something out of nothing, and he's done it time and time again. And I know you guys see that stat of mine that says, I didn't let up a sack in the past 2 years. Well, if Jalen wasn't as good of an athlete, that stat would look a little bit different. So I'm just gonna say that.
Tommy.
Brian, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but when you hear this guy say that he wants to make people lose their love for football, how fulfilling is that for you, knowing that's the kind of style that you want to build with this team?
Yeah, and it is contagious. It really is. It's something that we will practice. It's something that we will talk about. And to add people like Tyler that have that mentality, it just rubs off on the entire team, the entire program. And there's going to be an expectation to win. When we step on the field, we expect to win. And having that confidence, that relentless competitive nature, it's contagious, and he'll add another component to that.
Tony McDuff, Next Star Broadcasting. You have an uncle who played in the NFL for a Super Bowl winning team. How has your uncle served as an inspiration to you?
He's just really shown me what it's like to be a pro. He's told me a lot of stories, and he's really mentally prepared me for what it takes, and just him and my family all together, like all the sacrifices that they've made. Like, he's just been able to give me a different perspective on what it's like to be a pro, and then just having my family, like my sister Jalen, like she's amazing. Like, she gives me the perspective of, like, somebody who's not so much into sports. And I'm just talking about life, and I just really want to take this time to shout out Jalen and talk about Jalen. Like, that's really my second mother. So just like everybody in my family, everybody has played a major part into why I am where I am. And my uncle, everybody over there, especially Jalen, like, they've done a great job, and I'm forever indebted to them for all they've done and all they've imparted to me. And then something my uncle especially helped me out with is Coach Saban, because he played for Coach Saban for a couple years when he was at Michigan State, and it's funny talking to him. So I remember I came back after my first spring at Alabama. I was telling him a story about Coach Saban, and he just starts moving his hands like this. I was like, how do you know he does that? Like, he did that 20-something years ago. He was like, he's the same person. So kind of gave me some hints on what to expect.
Tyler Adarasso, Spectrum News. You mentioned your bond with Jalen. I saw that J.J. McCarthy was kind of advocating to bring you to Minnesota. What is it that you've been able to kind of forge these bonds with your quarterbacks, and how do you kind of put that in action with Dak?
I know the quarterback is the heartbeat of the team, and I know that the more confidence he has, the better he'll play. Like, the more confidence anybody has about doing something, the better they'll perform at. And if I, an offensive lineman, can breathe confidence into my quarterback, I know as a team we're going to do a lot better. And there's no better way to breathe confidence into your quarterback by making sure that he doesn't get touched. So I do that by practicing my tail off, and then also being in blitz pickup meetings with Jalen. Like, that's something that we did the past 2 years, and that's what made the sack numbers go down so much. Like, we were able to articulate things and talk about things, and I learned a lot about the game of football from Jalen. So for us to be in those meetings and me being able to help him out during the game, because he has to worry about everything. If I could just let him know, like, hey, that safety rolled down, They could bring something over here. If I could just say hot, 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 that's going to make Jalen's job a lot easier. So whatever I can do to make his job easier.
Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. For you, Tyler, we spoke about this a little bit on the ride in, but just to reiterate for Cowboys fans everywhere, you mentioned that Dak Prescott had reached out to you, one of the first players to reach out to you. What was his message to you, and what was your reply to him as far as getting everything started?
We just talking about it wasn't a long conversation. We just talked about winning Super Bowls, and we really kept it brief. And I just let him know I was really ready to work, ready to learn, and I just can't wait to get to work. You know, the thing that's so special about the National Football League is that, like, you have time to build relationships and build bonds with your teammates. And he's somebody that I'm looking forward to building a bond and relationship with. Like high school, you're on a 4-year clock. College, you're on a 3 to 4 year clock. Like in the league, like Lord willing, I played for a long time. Lord willing, Dak plays for a long time. Like that's bonds that we'll have for life. So I'm just looking forward to build a bond with him and then the rest of my teammates that I meet soon.
Alrighty. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Up there for pictures? Yeah.